A juvenile is defined as someone who is under the age of 18. Some states that count as 17, just depending where you live. Delinquent is defined as a young person involved in crimes, which is where the term juvenile delinquent came from, a young person committing crimes. I think there's many reasons um, for the cause of juvenile delinquency, but I think the main part that I want to cover is the peer pressure that a teen goes through. Juveniles, children, and they want to feel accepted. Um, so they go, outside of their norm to feel the acceptance, which sometimes leads them into, life of committing crimes and delinquent acts. School can be a great way for juveniles to get help almost if they can't receive it at home or really in their community. They can go to school. Schools offer guidance counselors and their sports activities that can deter the juvenile away from committing crimes. School is a really great way to, feel a structure that they might not feel at home. Um, Okay, so I'm touching base again on kind of the peer pressure that juveniles feel, and the peers around them have a great influence on their behavior, their conduct, the way they think, because a lot of the time juveniles, teenagers don't really have a mind of their own. They just kind of go with, what's in, what's cool, and they don't really think for themselves. So they're gonna do what others are doing that they think. So juvenile court is a lot different than an adult court proceeding. For example, juveniles don't have the same rights as an adult would have. So they don't have the right to a jury. And typically it's just, the parents, the juvenile, a judge, defense and prosecutor that are in the room. There's not many people that are participating in this, in the hearing. The probation officer is one who is typically initiating the case. So personally, I believe there's more benefits to juvenile incarceration than there are downfalls. Um, but I do want to point out that depending on the individual, incarceration can either benefit them or make them more angry and lash out more. It just depends on the juvenile. It kind of takes a scared straight approach if you've ever seen the show, which I'm sure you have. It takes Now, as I mentioned before, incarceration is not always the road to go because depending on the juvenile, they respond differently to different, techniques, tactics. Sometimes probation works better, a halfway house. Day treatment programs are actually more cost effective because they're not required to provide, room and board um, for let's say 1,000 kids, a day.